Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And the podcast you have been waiting for is here without the wait.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
Remington Chase.
Fun fact for our listeners, turns out the version of that uses the word movie rather than podcast is in fact the tagline for the movie The Exorcist. Would you have guessed that? No, you fucking wouldn't have.
So it's spooky season properly. Like last week was technically.
It was a little bit of existential terror tacked on at the end.
Yes. But now we're actually in spooky season, and man, I can't wait to see what you have in store. Man, a little birdie told me that you were super excited for how you're gonna start the spooky season. So I can't wait to see the thing you've had planned this whole time.
Yeah. Cause I on this podcast, you and I are big horror aficionados.
Yeah.
But we also like to explore other avenues of horror, whether it's existential, personalized, or whatever. And sure. I had a great plan this week to talk about the horror of disappointing so many fucking people. Which, weirdly enough, is still going to happen because I had to switch things up at the last minute due to certain shenanigans that will not be made apparent until a couple months down the line.
Yeah, this is a tool called foreshadowing, but it's ambiguous foreshadowing that will only be paid off months from now once everybody has forgotten it.
And people are going to be pissed regardless when they find out. So, I just want it to be known that if you're wondering what the fuck we're talking about, I tried, and I'm sorry. So instead,
I want to know. All right, to add on to the cryptic foreshadowing, it's Shaun's fault.
It is not my fault. It is categorically not my fault.
It's Shaun's fault. So Shaun, what do we have in store for today?
I wouldn't be angry if it was my fault. So Rem, instead of what I was planning on doing, instead I decided to I had to think of a new concept of horror that we haven't necessarily done before, that we could cover and also still satisfy the desires of a lot of people.
Sure.
Because it would have felt bad if I had just picked a random horror anime out of the blue to just jump into, since my plans got fucking uprooted literally 2 days before we recorded. But with that in mind, I decided, okay, what's the kind of thing that would terrify Rem the most in this situation?
Fuck. All right, here we go.
And Remington, you would describe me as a bit of a nerd, right?
Yeah, of course.
A bit of a geek, bit of a dweeb. And what do, nerds like me love more than anything?
Judy Hopps.
Please be more generic.
Your favorite wife?
Please be more generic, you bastard. I'm talking about broad nerds, not specifically anime nerds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sawdust attached to any given IP.
Oh boy, I'm trying to lead you down a path, and you are tugging on the leash in the other direction. This is difficult. I've got you strapped in one of those kid harnesses, and you are just like, ooh, I want to look at the lions now.
I'm steering this plane, goddammit.
Christ, no, Remington. What nerds love more than anything, aside from correcting people, is rules.
Oh, of course.
And Rem, I like rules.
Yeah.
I'm a bloody DM, for Christ's sake, and I'm a DM who loves complex systems with complex combat and complex, hard and fast rules that have a little wiggle room, but essentially give the answers for specific situations that may or may not come up. The satisfaction of knowing the answer to a question of, hey, can I do this, is really nice. And let me tell you, Rem, that in and of itself isn't scary, right? I've ran games for you. You're not scared of me as a DM, even though I killed your sister in one game. Don't worry about it. But you know what would be scary for you, Rem?
What would be scary for me?
If I decided to break the rules.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed. What the fuck is? What do you think this
What's
is?
that?
The 12 days? You think this is the 12 fucking days? What do you think you are?
Well, no, the 12 fucking days, that's your purview, man.
Think this is some April Fool's bullshit? That's what are you trying? What, you have to follow the rules, and I get power less often, but within that power, I get to break the rules. That's how it goes.
That is true. But, Rem, I don't know, you sound a little scared at the moment. Because, like, if I was to break the rules, what could I possibly do to you? What would be your biggest fear, Rem, if I was to break the rules? What do you think it would be? I want to delve into, I want to know in your head what you think I could do that involves breaking the rules that would absolutely be truly horrifying for you.
That'd be truly horrifying. A real good way to punish me. Oh man, we could cover something that's not anime today, and I'd be like, whoa, what the hell? And and that'd throw me off my rhythm big time, and that'd be, oh man, that'd be super spooky. Oh man, hope you don't do that.
I can't help but feel you're being a little disingenuous, my friend.
Pardon? Excuse me? I'm nothing if not sincere, Shaun.
Yeah, because there's nothing you fear more than not watching anime. You love watching anime. It's your favorite.
Look, it's not that I love watching anime. It's just that like it'd be so different. I'd be like, it's like, oh man, what happened to my friend Shaun?
He's being a filthy rule breaker. No, come on now, Rem. There's got to be something else that would scare you.
I mean, we oh god, we have rules for a reason.
We do, and I love those rules. Those rules are great. But man, what if I just did a little snap, just a little crack, just a little crack with some of those rules.
All right. What? How are you being a rule breaker? How are you breaking the rules? You fuck piece of shit.
You genuinely have no other guess other than me showing you something that's not anime?
I don't want to bring anything into existence.
Oh, you're thinking this is like a fucking Ghostbusters situation where the first thing you think of is the thing that we're going to cover.
I don't want to provide you any ammunition. You've gone power hungry, and it seems like a dangerous game.
What? Hey, Rem, you could just think of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That went great for them.
Yeah, I'm spooked about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That's actually what I'm doing.
And then we just go in and watch Ghostbusters 2, specifically. But no, Rem. Yeah, like, because there was so many things I could think of. Because I've never broken the rules on the podcast before. That's weird for me. Outside of bonus episodes, like, sure. I had to think because I only had 2 days to figure this out, Rem. And a lot of things came into my mind. Well, one of my hard and fast rules was I would never show him hentai or borderline hentai. That was something that came to mind.
Yeah.
Because like genuinely, I thought it was like, there's not much content there. It's like, we watched the man watch animated porn. What are we gonna do? You know, like there could be something in depending on how specific the show is, but then I'd have to watch a lot of hentai, and I'm not really interested in doing that. I mean, we have Dylan for that, because Lord knows he tried to show you a hentai once.
It's true. And only realized, it's a true fact that for one of the 12 days, Dylan was going to show me hentai without realizing it was hentai, despite it being on a website that was like, only hentai.com. Like, it wasn't subtle, right? It wasn't. No. There was no subtlety there, but somehow our lovely editor just overlooked that.
Yeah, so that was a consideration. The other consideration I had in mind was, well, there's no hard and fast rule on how much anime I can really show him. Because, you know, like 3 to 5 episodes is our standard, and occasionally I can go over if there's specific situations like a revisit, or if I'm feeling extra spicy and we have time. Like, that's a possibility. But how far could I push that is the question. Could I show him something like 24 episodes of a show in one sitting? Oh, that'd be pretty rough. It'd be very rough. I feel bad about doing that, but it would be breaking a rule. That was another
you feel bad as you should.
No, I would, because contrary to popular belief, Rem, I do care about you.
I appreciate. We'll see. We'll see how much you care about me.
The other thing I could do is, man, there are lots of games out there as well. And there's no
Uh-huh.
hard and fast rule on games. Like, we've only done it a handful of times, and we've been pretty
True,
loosey-goosey with that. But, like, if I forced you to play all of a JRPG, that would feel pretty
Oh,
rule
mother of
breaky for me.
God.
Yeah, like, and that wouldn't have to be a long one. I could just pick, like, simple 24-hour JRPG. That'd be pretty easy. But it would feel a
Woo.
little rule breaky because, man, that's a lot of gameplay, and the man cannot commit to most games of that length.
It's true. It's true.
And of course, as you surmised, another way for me to break the rules would be to show you something that isn't technically anime. That is a possibility. Because, God, I mean, this is an anime podcast. Who would
Yeah.
tune into an anime podcast that isn't talking about anime? It's fucking
It's
madness.
I think that's the spookiest option, and thus I think that's what you should go for.
Yeah. But Rem, if I was to do something like that opens up so many worlds of possibility. Like, you know how much content and media is out there? Like, I could have you read a book. I could have
True.
you...
Which is unfortunate because I don't know how to read.
Good. As somebody who's seen your bookshelf, highly doubtful.
It's all for show. It's all for show. It's all to convince people that I can read.
Yeah. And I'm sure the book with the obvious, like, swastika on it is just for flavor.
That one? Okay, look. I want to be clear. That's Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. It's a very, very popular book about the Nazis in World War II. It's not. I don't have recreational swastikas. All right, they're not.
Yeah, whatever you have to say, bud. Whatever you have to say. Yeah. Or, like, you know, play a non-anime game as well. Like, there are plenty of non-anime games out there that I could force you in. I could have you just listen to our podcast. That would be torturous. You have to review some of our podcast episodes. That would be a fucking trip and a half.
That would be pretty fucking horrific. That would be pretty fucking horrific.
Pretty fucking bad. But no, Ram. Instead, I think I'm going to do something that has been heavily requested. And genuinely, people have sent us emails being like, hey, this isn't anime, but can you show it to Rem, please? I've gotten dozens of emails like that ever since it first came out. And Rem, let's be honest, we're millennials. We're at the end of being millennials, you know? We're at the end scope of that. Zoomers are a little complex to understand for us sometimes, wouldn't you say?
Sure.
So what I would say today, Rem, is we are going to watch a very popular piece of Zoomer media.
Motherfucker.
What's up? What's that? What's up, Rem? Something wrong?
I feel like you may have been inspired by many possibilities in a possible web of possibilities that once again people will learn about in the future.
Oh,
especially if this goes the route that I feel like it's about to go.
And hey, Rem, tell me, what route do you think this is going? What do you think I'm going to show you? I'm curious.
Shaun, are you gonna have me watch fucking Skibbity Toilet?
Oh, Rem! Fuck no! Why would I do that?
Why would he says as if it's crazy? All right, okay, all right.
No, Rem. No. This has genuinely been heavily requested. Tell me, Rem, have you heard of the Amazing Digital Circus?
Amazing Digital. Yeah, yes. Only in the sense that I know that I've seen like screenshots of it,
and
I've also heard people being horny for it, which from the screenshots I've seen do not make sense.
Well, Rem, so today we're going to be covering the Amazing Digital Circus. Because genuinely, ever since it came out in 2023, people have been requesting it. And yeah, I'm breaking the rules because it's not anime. Like, it's independent animation from Australia.
Okay, all right. Is this... It occupies a similar headspace as like a has-been hotel in my brain, where it feels like, once again, all I've seen are like screenshots and shit, right? It feels like Tumblr bait.
Oh, 1,000,000% is a Tumblr bait. My guy. It's Tumblr bait for a younger generation.
Fair enough.
And I will say, you're not incorrect to say...
Is it an actual show?
It's an actual independent little show. It has 6 episodes right now.
100% thought that it was like a web show.
I mean, it's a web show in the sense that it's on YouTube, but it's a full animation with each episode being a little over 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I don't. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Rem, I told you I didn't I'm breaking the rules here. But it came to me after I just binged watched it myself the other day, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Because I got a lot of email requests for it, so I thought, hey, maybe this would be a great last minute switch up since I had to find something horror related. And the horror, of course, is you freaking out about me breaking the rules. So, hey, gang, I'm breaking the rules this one time for y'all. I don't think it's a regular thing because I feel gross and uncomfortable doing it.
Okay,
I like my rules.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Why are people horny for it? Because is it surprisingly horny? Because based on the screenshots I've seen, it gives no appearance of horny.
You've seen the main character Pomni and you haven't thought, man, oh man, I want to get involved with that jester.
Yeah, well, no, because it's just like a rubber hose sort of build, and that's not. I don't look at Steamboat Willie and be like, oh fuck, holy shit, look at him.
You're not looking at this little jester and thinking, oh yeah, gotta get in that.
I'm not, and to be honest, if anything, it makes me feel uncomfortable because it doesn't seem. I don't look at this gesture and think even like, yeah, that's an adult.
Well, all the cast are adults, Rem.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Pomni is 25.
That's crazy.
It'll make a little more sense as I explain things. But yes, this is ultimately an adult centered indie animation from a person that goes by Gooseworks. They are the creator, the showrunner, the writer, the director, all that jazz. They are a member of the studio called Glitch Productions, and it's just an independent animation group.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and in the past couple years, they've gotten insanely popular. Digital Circus especially has been the big blow up. And you mentioned the Has Been Hotel crowd, Hello Boss, whatever. I believe that came out before Digital Circus, but it was still around the same time period, and there's definitely similar vibes. But whereas Has Been Hotel is completely irreverent and incredibly horny and swearing is funny, haha, the show, and a lot of people have heavy criticisms about it. Digital Circus itself, a lot of people are praising it for its characterization, more so than anything.
Okay.
Because, another aspect of horror for you, this is an isekai, buddy.
Ah, fuck! Oh no! Oh no! Man, a third isekai in a row? That's crazy. That's wild.
Truly horrific, huh?
I mean,
you like the last isekai we watched.
It's true. We had a very highly rated isekai that I thought was fucking trash. We had a very low rated isekai that I thought was unique and delightful. And now we're just going a full lateral off the fucking grid, and we'll see how this goes.
Yes, and this particular show in general has been so fucking successful since it first launched its I believe it was its pilot in 2023. But it now has 6 full episodes, and it's planned to have exactly 9. So, though it may take another year for the rest of them to come out, because they are, taking their time producing something. But yeah, the Amazing Digital Circus, if you had to guess what it was about, knowing that it's an isekai, what do you think? Any thoughts?
Okay, well, now okay, let's piece this together, okay? I think it is Alice in Wonderland, but online, all right?
Okay.
I'm thinking that, here, you know what? I'm going to smush 2 things together.
The classic Remington formula.
Bo Burnham, Welcome to the Internet, combined with Alice in Wonderland. So mush them together.
Okay.
And that's what I have in my mind. Especially circusy. Bo Burnham also covers that side of things pretty well. And so it just, yeah, that's the fusion I'm imagining right now.
Okay. Would you believe me if I told you that Gooseworks has a kind of a smash 2 things together pitch that they did for the studio when they brought it to them?
All right, let's see how close I was.
So the first thing is a combination of computer games and images from the 90s.
Okay, I feel like that's kind of the ballpark I was at.
Yep. Smashed together with the with the short story by Harlan Ellison, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Pardon? Was that not what you were expecting?
That's insane.
Is that not what you're anticipating from this cute little jester that people want to fuck?
What? That's crazy. That's insane. That's a fucked story. It is an insanely fucked story. I don't. Wait, how? What?
Hey, they just said that was their inspiration for the idea. So,
That's
you know.
Crazy inspiration. And also, look, it's not like I know a lot, but I'm surprised that I haven't
Heard that?
heard that. 'Cause that's fucking insane.
Yeah, because Rem, I told you this was an animation made for adults, right?
Yeah.
If you were to describe this show, it would be described as a dark comedy, a surreal comedy, or a psychological drama.
Oh, yeah, you know what I think of when I think of I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream? I'm like, oh man, that's dark comedy all the way, man.
Well, I mean, this isn't I Have No Mouth, I Must Scream. This is that mixed with mixed with Pomni there.
Yeah, of course. That really brings in the laughs.
Yeah, look at her laugh. Isn't it cute?
That's crazy. This is fucking wild.
I also had to pick something vaguely horror-esque for the start of things. Because, yeah, Rem, this independent animation is... The general idea of it is you're not entirely far off. The premise is Pomni awakes in a weird digital circus with her body as a strange kind of rubbery jester.
Sure,
and is surrounded by other weird characters. Doesn't know why she's there. Can't remember her own name, because Pomni is just her replacement name.
Yeah.
And was trapped in this circus after she was put on a strange headset in the real world. And because of that, she's now in this circus. Trapped.
Is this just a secret Sword Art Online spinoff?
I mean, look, man, if you want to call any show that involves putting on a headset and getting trapped in a digital world sword art, then sure.
What happens if she dies?
Oh, well, that's the thing, is they can't die, Rem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from what they can tell, they can't die, because a lot of bad things happen to them. I mean,
when does she get a sword and superpowers?
No swords, no real superpowers. She does get guns at some point, which is interesting. But they all do, so you know that's besides the point.
This is what I don't know what to anticipate. I don't know what's.
And that's part of what I was hoping for, Rem, because I knew for a fact there was no shot you would have seen this in your free time.
Oh yeah, of course not. It's one of those things that I don't know. It might be a really good show, but it's like hype from the fringes.
Yes.
That I tend to not put a lot of stock in.
Right. But yeah, essentially, when she awakes in there, she's freaking out for obvious reasons. But there are other humans that are trapped here and transmogrified into weird little cartoon game characters. And they all have very great names. You've got Pomni is her name. But then you've also got Jax, Ragatha, Gangle, Kinger, and Zubul.
So what they've done is they've just taken first generation Pokemon, split their names in half, and just they went on the OG like Pokemon fusing website that would just mix the sprites together and like give them the fun little weird names, and that's how they named most of their characters.
They took them straight from the Pokemon. So you're saying like, what two Pokemon is Pomni mixed with?
Pomni might be an exception, but let's see. A couple of the others, like Gangle. Yeah. We start with Gengar, all right? Okay. Then maybe Tangela. There's probably one that just ends with ol, though.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Zubul, that's Zubat and Tangela. Snubble. There we go. It's Zubat and Snubble. See, it would just...
Yeah. But, so those are the other characters in there, and yeah, they're trapped in this thing, and they essentially bide their time because the AI that is running everything, Kane, you and your you and your Bible studying ass would probably appreciate that name.
Yeah.
Tries to keep them entertained by providing them regular nonsensical adventures to, have them not think too much about the existential crisis of being trapped in a place that they cannot leave.
It sounds interesting, and it does sound. I have look, I'm an isekai hater, not because isekais are inherently bad, right? But rather because it's the most oversaturated anime subgenre, which means statistically everybody's phoning it the fuck in. And so a different perspective, a more indie perspective, they can breathe some life back into some isekai type stories and sort of show hey, these can be interesting, these can be compelling. Which is why I will be distraught if this ends up being somehow generic trash. I don't think it will, given indie studio weird, just already what you've told me. It seems there's a lot of potential here. But lots of things have shown up on this podcast and squandered their very high potential. A lot of things I've gotten my hopes up for and then come back in part 2 being oh no, it's bad.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm going to put some more perspective in here for you. And this is going to be a very long part 1 because, again, this is something that we've never done before.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. But to put things in perspective, the very first episode of The Amazing Digital Circus, the pilot, currently has 394 million views.
God damn.
Yeah. And the most recent episode that dropped a month ago has 80 million views.
Woo!
So, needless to say, people are fairly invested in this.
Yeah.
But yes, 6 episodes in a little over a year and a half. Not too shabby. And a little more credit to it is the fact that we've gotten so many messages being hey, it's not anime, but we want you to show the boy this.
Show the boy.
Mm-hmm. And it is a very interesting, surreal experience, Rem. And I hope you enjoy it, because it does have horror elements to it, right? Because, I told you exactly which short story gave inspiration.
That truly is fucking crazy to me. All right, let's see if Tumblr bait is better than weeb shit. Probably is the answer to that.
Well, we will have to see. But yeah, you're going to watch all 6 episodes that are currently out, and I'm curious to see what you have to say. And keep in mind that while there is a progressing plot line, the creators of the show have described it primarily as character-driven studies more so than your big overarching world theorizing video.
Okay, interesting.
So, I think without further ado, let's go straight into it. Let's go watch The Amazing Digital Circus.
Before we move into part 2 of the podcast, Shaun, Remington, and myself want to extend our congratulations to Haley, who very recently got married, and whose romance has been playing out in the Patreon raids for the past several years. We hope you and your new spouse have a very happy life together.
And we are back after watching the first 6 episodes of the obscenely popular Amazing Digital Circus. And I don't know about you, Rem, but it feels wrong talking about something that's not anime. I just, it feels gross. But gross feelings are what spooky month is all about. So, Rem, the real question is...
Well, hey, I have great news.
Yeah?
In episode 5, it does become an anime. In episode 5, it is anime.
It's not entirely wrong. It definitely has a lot of anime inspiration, you might say.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But, with that in mind, Rem, do you have any strong views on this show? Do you think the Zoomers are overreacting? And are we going to get canceled for one of the rare times we don't cover an anime on a main episode of the podcast?
No, I think this will be an interesting episode. I think people will have a time listening to this episode.
You didn't specify what kind of time, I noticed.
Different strokes for different folks, Shaun. Different strokes for different folks.
I don't know if I want to talk about stroking right now, Rem.
You don't want to mix business and pleasure. So, episode 1, we open up with the intro for the Amazing Digital Circus, that's interrupted by a jester girl popping in, freaking out about having put on a headset, and basically, oh fuck, you got Sword Art Online, all right? That's how it goes. Whoopsie. And immediately they capture the style really well of that like 90s 3D very very basic visual style, which I think works. I will say I think that they largely abandon it as they get more skilled, because the animation will improve, but thus will deviate from this sort of shitty 90s style. At least in authenticity, it's sort of it becomes, instead of a recreation, more of a like homage, you know?
God forbid they have good animators, eh?
It felt like a very deliberate creative choice, but then they upped their skill level, and it was like, no, those that wasn't a decision, that was a limitation. It was like, oh, okay. I was kind of vibing with it, to be honest. I'm not against the improved animation of later episodes, but the jester, she learns she can't leave. We get some exposition about what's going on, the different areas going on, and the void, the digital void. She sees like an exit door and asks about it, and that's denied. Don't worry about it, doesn't exist. Fuck you. She's given the name Pomni. She can't remember her previous name, and so just randomly given one, basically. And then an adventure is proposed by the sort of ringleader, Kane, who's a mouth and eyeballs as a sort of ringmaster. And they gotta gather the gloinks, Shaun.
Yeah. You've gathered a few gloinks in your time.
Oh, of course. And you being my prized gloink.
I like that.
Shaun, the great glizzy gloinker.
I definitely don't like that.
He gloinks all over those glizzies, let me tell you. Gloinks, they're little abstract shapes causing mayhem. And we generally meet the characters. We'll do an introduction because the characters are important, right? So, Pomni, little jester, new, pretty positive, pretty chill. Then we have Kane. He's wild. He's the god of this world, controlling everything, and very unstable, right? And also has a strong desire to be appreciated.
Yes.
Then we got Jax, who is an angry, sort of a misanthropic, sarcastic bunny man. Who he's sarcastic, and look, he's the kind, he always plays a chaotic evil rogue, and he loves Rick and Morty and admires Rick very specifically.
Oh Jesus.
That's Jax, all right?
Hey Rem,
look, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
You gotta be careful with what you say, Rem, because you may or may not have stumbled upon the favorite character of a lot of people.
Then we have Ragatha, who is a Raggedy Ann doll, who is generally positive and supportive and motherly. We got Gangle, who is a ribbon-bodied mask person, has a comedy and a tragedy mask. The tragedy mask is their default, but they have a comedy mask that's always breaking and everything, right? And so they're forced to be sad. And they're generally, they're pathetic and also a weeb. But I repeat myself.
Jesus Christ.
It's true! It's true!
It's been a while since you've directly insulted people who listen to our podcast.
Where is the lie? So then we have Kinger, who is a king chess piece, who has sort of, like, he's been there longest, sort of lost his mind. And so he's a bit of a nutcase, but he relaxes in the dark and can become sort of a fatherly figure. And we got Zubul, who is a jumble of disparate parts and doesn't care about any of this, doesn't care about the adventures at all. So those are the main characters, right? We learn, so I'll gather the glowing. Zubul's immediately like, nah, fuck that shit. But a couple of them go to Zubul's. Pomni is interested in talking to Kaufmo, who's another character that we've just heard about, who talked about an exit door, right? So Pomni goes with Jax, the sarcastic rabbit, and Ragatha, the supportive doll, to go find Kaufmo. And it turns out Kaufmo, he's been abstracted, which turns him into a dark, glitching monstrosity, who starts attacking everyone, attacks the shit out of Ragatha, who starts glitching the fuck out. Pomni searches for Kane and to handle the Kaufmo situation. Meanwhile, some of the others find the Gloink Queen, which is a hell of a... It's just saying that sounds... it sounds a certain kind of way. And they chat with the Gloink Queen before Kaufmo breaks through the ceiling, as it were, and beats the shit out of the Gloink Queen. Pomni, meanwhile, finds another exit door, takes it, and it's a bunch of office space endlessly. Very liminal, very Backrooms-esque, and keeps taking exit doors that just keep looping. There's like an old creepy PC. She finally exits to the void, but Kane finds her, takes her back to the circus, fixes Ragatha from glitching the fuck out, and then they all eat. So that's episode 1. It's a decent episode. All right, there are some limitations.
Mm-hmm.
First, this episode, and I wasn't sure. It's difficult to initially tell what is style and what is budget. All right, because it certainly does feel, especially episode 1, very indie, very very amateur in a lot of ways. But there's a lot of care for details, and it's clear that thought and effort has been put into it, right? And what's interesting is because each episode is made one after the other, and instead of all together, you're able to see which choices are style and which are budget. So one which I wasn't sure about, and I was like, it feels very strange, was the music and sound effects, particularly for episode 1, which felt very low budget kids show as fuck. Like kids show is getting canceled.
Uh-huh.
Like even as a kid, you're watching and you're like, it doesn't stand a fucking chance. Just because of how the type of music they use, how it's handled, right? Especially just with episode 1, it created a bit of a strange feeling. Also, some of the scripting in this episode, not great. Particularly Kane and Jax, they were a little too Tumblr for me. That's how I'm gonna describe that. They're a little too Tumblr for me, or DeviantArt. A little too sort of like fan fiction-y. Y'all know the vibes I'm talking about. Y'all get it.
And if you're insulted by it, you can address all complaints to Remington directly.
Hey, I'm not saying it's a terrible thing. I'm saying I don't super vibe with it, and it feels like somebody who's learned certain elements of the craft but hasn't honed the craft. Right? That's what it felt like, especially with those two characters that are just a bit much in very specific Tumblr directions. Episode 2, I think, is the most flawed episode. It does some very interesting things. However, I think it fucks up a bunch of shit too. All right?
Okay.
Yes, 100%. It just fucks up a bunch of shit. So it's the next day, and a new adventure. They're going to go to the Candy Canyon Kingdom and gonna get back some maple syrup from some bandits in some diesel trucks, right? That's the fun, silly plan. Zubul once again opts out, which I was like, oh, they've created an interesting sort of like archetype for Zubul, right? In that Zubul, she's sort of jaded with the whole premise and not interested in joining, which totally works and is valuable in this type of environment. But they also don't seem to know what the fuck to do with Zubul yet, because they've set the standard that Kane will let her, even if he doesn't like it, he will let her skip out on adventures, right? And she never wants to go on an adventure. And also, we're pretty well just focused on the adventures. And so that leaves Zubul kind of off to the sidelines. And it's like, oh, okay. And yeah, at this stage, they don't yet know what the fuck they're doing with Zubul. They have an interesting archetype, but they've set up rules that fuck them. The natural consequence of Kane not forcing her to do adventures and her never wanting to do adventures means, and then the show being focused on adventures means she's just not really a part of the show, right? So she doesn't show up, everybody else does, and so they go off chasing the bandits, to get the maple syrup back, and it's a little bit of candy Mad Max battle. If anything, would have been great if they went even further into it. What we get is fun enough. And the candy world, it's fun and vivid. There's lots of like fun details and ideas here. It's just not like cohering well. Particularly this episode, it doesn't provide any opportunity to learn more about the characters or their relationships, which you really need, because first episode was more or less just an introduction to the world, and we have a very basic understanding of the characters, but not a lot, right? They're just a list of traits, and that continues into episode 2, where they're just a list of traits, but it's not being fleshed out. It doesn't feel very organic. The characters within episode 2 feel like characters that were brainstormed, but not, and like they thought some good ideas for each of the characters, right? I don't want to say that they're one-dimensional at this point, because it's like they thought of giving 2 to 4 traits to each character, but then they're very much drawing within the lines even still, and it feels rigid, and it doesn't feel organic, and there's not any nuance or depth being added yet, which I think you really needed. And then I think the possibly the biggest misstep is that Pomni gets separated from the main circus group, right? And she glitches out of the world, which means that Pomni, who's like the newcomer, isn't getting a chance, and also the main character isn't getting a chance to interact and establish these bonds with the other characters, which also means that we as the audience aren't getting the chance to. We don't see how what the other characters' relationships are like. We're not developing any of that or building that, which you really do want to do early. I think what really was needed pacing-wise is an episode between episode 1 and 2 that's like some way a vessel for Pomni to just have like one-on-one time with every character, right? Which ironically we will get, I believe, in episode 4. Well, a little bit more episode 5. But also a tiny bit of episode 4, where they will start implementing that. It would have been nice if it was earlier, because you do want to establish important things like character and relationships earlier rather than later.
I mean, episode 3 is all about Pomni and Kinger, more or less.
Sure, and that will be one character. Kinger, in so doing that episode 3, is the first character we actually get to learn about meaningfully, but that does take until episode 3. And it feels like we should have gotten a general lay of the land before starting to do deep dives on individual characters, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Pomni glitches out of the world, along with the sort of bandit leader who's a gummy lizard.
Crocodile?
A gummy crocodile, sorry. He's a bandit gummy Aussie croc. And he learns, the croc learns, his name is Gummy Goo. He learns that he's an NPC and wrestles with that. And Pomni invites him back to the circus, because he's having an existential crisis. And it's a bit rough. And once again, even a scene like this, a very neat scene, feels a little bit more appropriate for like an episode 3. I just need a little bit more time here, right? Just a little bit more time. You need to establish a baseline a little bit more before fucking with the baseline. So I just think structurally and pacing wise, episode 2, it's fine conceptually. It doesn't belong in episode 2. Even if it was episode 3, it would be so much better. They're able to take Gummy Goo back and finish the adventure and all that stuff. There's some additional details, nothing too important. And then when they return, Kane looks and he's like, oh shit, an NPC got into the circus, and just zaps him dead. Gummy Goo's gone. Fuck you. Which is pretty solid. Pretty solid. Shows that Kane is unhinged and fucked, and it does enough with Gummy Goo to establish him as a fun character where you're like, oh fuck, he would have been a fun addition, which is perfect. Exactly what you want. Solid.
You're happy Gummy Goo is dead.
I think that it is a good narrative decision.
Can't wait for all the Gummy Goo fans to come after you for that one, man.
I like Gummy Goo. Gummy Goo is solid. It was the right decision for him to die because I like Gummy Goo, all right? Look, here's the thing, all right? A character I like dying, that isn't always a bad thing. Very often, I'll be like, oh, fuck, I didn't want them to die. And that's the right emotion to have. And that's indicative of the creator making the right choice. Too often, creators are like, oh man, and then they die, and then people are like, I don't want them to die though, and they're like, oh, okay, never mind, they don't then, actually. Shout out to my boy Arthur Conan Doyle in Sherlock Holmes. That basically exact same thing as we've learned nothing, all right? We've learned nothing. It's just the whims of the loudest fans who can't accept deaths of their favorite characters even when it's narratively satisfying.
And hey, for those who still miss him, don't worry. There you go, Rem. You can get a marketable Gummy Goo plushie.
I will say, occasionally I was turned off by the show, not by stuff the show was specifically doing, but because I could feel its audience upon it. This is the kind of show, and I could be wrong. I don't think I am. This is the kind of show with an insufferable audience. It's just, it emanates, it oozes that sort of thing, right?
Are you telling me that all of the
not
people
not universally, but
so you're saying that's the same people that would send us so many requests to cover this show, even though it's technically not something we normally cover, are insufferable? That's very, very rude of you, Rob. I'm
saying probably at least one of them, statistically. But hey, if you were a listener, if you were one who suggested it, obviously I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the other freaks. I just think that Amazing Digital Circus, it's the kind of thing to spawn a very obnoxious fan base, right? And so sometimes I felt like a sort of precognizant cringe, not from what the show was doing, but by what I knew. I was like, this is how an obnoxious fan base would respond to what is happening. Like when we got in episode 3, we get possessed evil Pomni. In fact, we see evil Pomni a couple times, and I was like, that's fucking bait. All right, that's some Tumblr bait bullshit right there. Or even just like that's to sell a different kind of toy. Which it works fine within what is going on. Once again, certain audiences are just real obnoxious, all right? And hey, I like media with obnoxious audiences, all right? Like, hey, Rick and Morty, pretty good show. Awful fans. Awful fans. So episode 2, really good ideas, but it's just not cohering, and it tried to subvert the baseline without establishing the baseline sufficiently. It's trying to add more without fleshing out what they have. Like, Gummy Goo is great. Gummy Goo got more development than any of our main cast, which feels like it shouldn't be the case. Like, it feels like you want to, once again, at least establish the main cast before carrying too much forward. So at the end of episode 2, here's kind of what I was feeling. It is an interesting passion project, and I appreciate the originality that's within it. Very strong concept. The character designs are fantastic. Some really interesting stuff, and it's clear that, like, thought and heart has been put into it, but it's clear that this is a person who has learned the craft more than they have honed the craft, right? They have it conceptually, but especially the storytelling is very, very flawed, and it feels very amateur at this stage. Episode 3, we open up on Pomni holding her breath, and apparently it has different effects for everybody. Her face changes colors. And the adventure for this one is the mystery of Mildenhall Manor, and it was an adventure made for Zooble, but Zooble isn't interested, doesn't show up once again. They don't know what the fuck they're doing with Zooble, and we'll even get some Zooble in this episode, and it's still it's not good. It's not great. All right, it's not conceptually. It's fine. Execution wise, it's pretty shit. If I'm being honest with you. All right, I'm just gonna level with you. So the others go to Mildenhall Manor, and it's nice and spooky. And there's 2 doors, one that's really scary and one that's not scary. And Kinger, because he's a wacky zany guy, he ends up falling into the scary door and taking Pomni with him. So now they're in a spooky adventure, just the 2 of them, and it has definite inspiration from survival horror games. Like they're playing voice tapes, right, to give a lore dump, and I thought that totally worked. That was a fun little vibe. I like that they explore different gaming genres, especially, and they'll continue to do this, and it's a good time. This was the episode I was like, already they have abandoned any strict adherence to 90s style, because you'll kind of get that with some of the 3D stuff, but in an updated, nicer looking way. And at this point, just that it very much is inspiration rather than strict styling, which is fine. But I did kind of vibe with it. I kind of fucked with the overly simplistic, ugly 90s CG bullshit. So there's a spooky monster head, and they freak out. There's an extended like lights out bit. That's all right. It's okay. Once again, it feels like they're figuring out the pacing. They're figuring out the script writing elements. And they end up getting a gun, shooting the monster. That's a spooky head, and as it turns out, that head is an angel of God, and killing it will send you to hell. So they go to hell, nice and casually, just go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Hall of the Damned that briefly possesses Pomni, and she's able to be saved. She chats with Kinger, who's less zany because it's dark. He gives some exposition about himself. Some decent moments, a little bit ham-fisted. And one of the issues with this show is that they have two main types of exposition, neither of which are great. And the first is ham-fisted, yes, time for me to expound now, right? And it's not the worst we've seen, but it can get pretty bad at times. For example, what's going on in the circus, Kane is confronting Zubul about not liking his adventures, and so he does some therapy stuff. Fun premise. And Zubul is basically just outright, first, she does the thing that's the second kind of exposition that Amazing Digital Circus will do, that is also, I think, frustrating and not great, and that's the cryptic, start saying something, but then forget about it, right? That thing. It's an annoying trope. It's an annoying trope that rarely works. And you're just trying to sort of like hook the audience, but you're like, shit. But we don't want the audience to be told this yet. But also we have very little justification for why this character wouldn't just finish their thought. Like, it's almost never organic. It's almost never done organically. It always just feels like you're trying to blue ball the audience. And we get quite a bit of that with Zubul before Zubul then just does a more ham-fisted and is like, it's not about the adventures. I just don't like myself. Do you understand? I don't like my strange makeshift body and all of that. Which is fine conceptually. I think that works for the character. I think this way of giving the exposition is fucking trash. It's fucking god-awful. Like, hey, why don't we see Zubul, like, trying on different parts and constantly getting, like, frustrated, right? That could be a decent way. Maybe having a conversation with Pomni at the circus, and Pomni's like asking questions, Zubul meanwhile, while answering, trying on different parts, getting increasingly angry and frustrated. Pomni is like, am I angering you? And Zubul's like, no, don't worry about it, it's fine. Or just like little things like that, where you're, show not tell. Stuff like that would be very valuable, but the exposition of this show is very often, especially early on, just bad. And this being like the first time we really see Zubul, and Zubul's like, hey, you want to know what my thing is? If you know what it is, Shaun?
Mm-hmm.
To reference one of your favorite anime, Riverdale.
Fuck off. Fuck off. You didn't even watch that shit. How dare you make a reference to the show?
But there's the notoriously cringe scene where Jughead is like, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. You see my gray cap? It's stupid and weird, right? That, and this moment with Zubul is kind of giving those vibes, where you have to like look and you're like, hey, you want to know what my deal is? And it's like, don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. It's bad. It's not good. The Kinger stuff is a bit better, if still a little bit forced and on the nose. The show doesn't yet know how to do organic exposition much at all. But by holding their breath, they're able to get through the Hall of the Damned, Pomni and Kinger, and they make it out. And Kinger, when he hits the light, of course, he's forgetful again. But they shared some good moments. We also learn a little bit more backstory about Kinger. And that's episode 3. Once again, interesting ideas, hits and misses, right? Hits and misses. And then we get to episode 4, which is, I would say, the first good episode. All right? The other episodes, they haven't been outright bad. They've been interesting. Wildly flawed. Flawed.
Hey, Rem, you're gonna find this hilarious. There's a very vocal minority of people who say that this is the first bad episode of the show.
I think I understand why. It probably has like a little bit off pacing, and it's less energetic. But that's also fine considering the themes. Basically, the reasons why I might criticize it for being a little less enjoyable totally work with the themes they're exploring, so it's easily excusable. And episode 4, it's the first episode with organic and unforced character and relationship building. Oh, thank God. Thus far, the characters, we got to see a bit more of Kinger, but besides that, they're just extremely shallow. They're a list of traits with nothing more, nor even much care in how to blend those traits. It's just a character's on screen, spin a wheel to find which trait they will bring up of theirs. And it hasn't been tremendous, right? But in this episode, we actually get to see those characters feel more organic. We get to see their bonds with each other. We get to see them interact with Pomni a bit more. It's an episode that we should have had something like earlier, frankly. Because finally, this is what we fucking needed so badly. Within episode 4, Gangle, which is the one with the masks, they're feeling sad, and their comedy mask, as per usual, broke. But Zubul looks within their box of parts and finds a wacky mask that should work for Gangle. And Gangle puts it on and is feeling a bit better, with their fun wacky mask. Kane shows up and he's like, all right, time for another spooky adventure. And Pomni is like, I don't want to do another spooky adventure. I don't like spooky. So instead they go to the suggestions. They have a suggestions box. They look through it. And the one that is decided on is a chill fast food adventure that's just working in a fast food restaurant. That's the whole adventure. And this time Zubul is forced into it, which frankly, about time. It just should have... It should have been happening also earlier. They finally figured out what to do with Zubul, and it just, maybe we do just kind of have to force Zubul into these things, huh? Which, they do. Which ignores the precedent they set earlier, and that's fine. That's fine, because otherwise, they don't know what the fuck to do with Zubul. You need Zubul in the adventure. And so Gangle is the manager. Also, if you haven't seen the show, all of these names, they do just sound like gibberish, because they largely are. So good fucking luck. But
people get pretty attached pretty quickly. So I'm sure what you're saying right now doesn't make sense to a lot of the big fans of this show. But I mean, they are just random syllables for names.
Yep. So Gangle, the sad massacre girl, or now wacky massacre girl, is the manager and starts running things. We go through breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ragatha gets some stupid sauce in her eye, so basically she's high this whole episode. Just high as fuck.
Yeah, but it's appropriate for the kids show environment.
Yeah, high as fuck in a kids show semi-appropriate way. And just serving him, and Jax is trying to break the rules but getting punished and just isn't really feeling it. He's like, it's all bullshit. Has not quite a heart-to-heart with Pomni, but just like you can see that he's stressed and exhausted, which once again, there we go. It's, you don't need it to be like wildly deviant from what's been established. You just need to be showing a little bit more, right? Just a little bit more here. And we get to see a little bit more with all the characters. We learned quite a lot about Gangle this episode, that Gangle, unsurprisingly, worked fast food, wanted to become a manga artist, because Gangle is a weeb, but, like, parents said it was unrealistic, don't even try for it, fuck you. And Gangle, like, with the masks, they bring it very well, both within, like, a corporate environment, but also then just sort of, like, existentially with the masks, in that always having to put on a positive mask and making that work, while underneath, the default mask for Gangle is the sad mask. Like, that's their, if anything, true mask. And even if they try to put the happy mask on top of it, that's not actually changing what's underneath. And just like the stress and concern and the need to sort of manufacture a certain image, especially within a professional environment. I like setting, character, and theme all very cohesive in this episode. It's the first time that it's really found its footing with that. Fuck yes. Thank God. Gangle is feeling overwhelmed. Pomni offers to close. Gangle, even within their sad mask, gives a little smile and just has a moment of relaxation and joy before stumbling into the street and getting truck-cooned. But of course that was just an adventure. They're not dead. They can't die. In fact, they can't actually die. And they're all given ratings by Kane in a little performance review. And Gangle is sad and feels like they fucked it all up, but Zubul is supportive of them. There we go. There we fucking go. This episode, it's the first one that meaningfully developed what it should have been doing kind of this whole time, but it figured it out. It figured it out. They know how to write now. Now the storytelling and the scripting is on par with the other elements, or at least closer. Thank God. In episode 5, we'll get a similar level. It falls into a little bit of inconsistency sometimes, but overall, episode 5 is also a pretty good one, where they decide to go through more of the suggestion box, right? In a lightning round. And so they go through them all, and then they can be skipped if it gets enough votes. So first is some of Jax's ideas, where Jax mostly just wants to fuck shit up. So those end up getting vetoed. Then there's an anime adventure that's just slice of life. They're all just chilling in a classroom, vibing. Then there's a stargazing adventure, where it's just they get to enjoy the stars, and they get a vibe, and they just get to interact. And a lot of this episode, they're just interacting, which is nice. And you get a variety of different scenes, and it just works. There's still they still fall into the two bad kinds of exposition, either inorganically cryptic or inorganically blurted out apropos of not much. You still get quite a bit of that here, fortunately. Like there's one scene that's sort of noir-y that will come later, one adventure, and that mostly just exists so everybody can be like, ah, yes, well, you want to know my backstory? Well, here it is. And it's nice to get their backstories, but there's better ways. Like Gangle delivering their backstory. All right, that was solid last episode. We didn't need them to stare at the camera. It wasn't even like particularly subtle, but it fit with what was going on. So in the sort of noir adventure, to have them all more or less look at the camera and be like, you want to know what my life was like before the digital circus? It's not great. And then just occasionally having a character be like, ah, yes, you want to know this detail? I shouldn't talk about that right now. And both of those, look, both of those just kind of suck. Both of those suck and can be done better. And both of them are done better, even like within this episode. So it has highlights, it has lowlights. It's fun to get variety. It's fun to get a little bit more characterization. There's overall some decent stuff. They play softball versus the evil versions of them, right? Ragatha is generally getting stressed, especially with how close Pomni is getting to Jax and everything. And is just concerned about that. And then we get to episode 6. Episode 6, easy best episode. Far and above. All right? So if you're counting, it's like 3 episodes that had a lot of potential, but were very, very flawed. 2 episodes that were good, finding its stride, hitting its stride, but still had flaws popping up. Episode 6, oh baby, now we're firing on all cylinders. It's found its footing, and that's the interesting thing about this sort of distribution style, is you will notice growth episode to episode because of the gaps. Because they have time to dedicate to it. So episode 6, they're put into teams, and they're going to have one kind of adventure, but that's switched into 2v2v2. Everyone gets 3 lives. I've hidden guns around. It's a battle royale. Fuck you. shoot each other. This is the first episode that even like the comedy writing is really working for me. Because before, look, in the other episodes, there's been some fun moments, right? Nothing to get me hardy harring, but some fun moments. There are also like a lot of lol random humor, which once again, look, it's very Tumblr. It's very DeviantArt. But it just doesn't work for me. But now you do get a handful of really solid lines that are really solid, just really fun and really actually humorous. When Kane's like, all right, just take a bunch of guns, you're just going to be shooting each other. And I think it's like Pomni who reiterates, she's like, so just shoot each other, have fun? And Kane just, I didn't say to have fun.
That was Zubel that said that.
Oh, Zubel, yeah. And that's a fun line. And then later on, Pomni and Jax end up on a team. Kinger and Zubel end up on a team. And Kinger and Ragatha end up on a team. And then Zubel and Gangle end up on a team. When Pomni and Jax are hunting down Kinger, at one point they're talking a bit about him. And they pass by a sort of cubby. And Kinger's just in the cubby. And Kinger has, frankly, the fire line, I'm right behind you, aren't I? Which is just really good and silly and perfectly within character. It's a great line in context. It just really good stuff. They're figuring it out. This sort of setting allows them to also have great character dynamics between each other, right? Because we get to see Ragatha and Kinger interact. We get to see Zubel and Gangle. We get to see Pomni and Jax. All of them interacting, and then even their interactions between teams are interesting and compelling and tell us more stuff about them. We're getting so much development in this episode where we're learning about them, and it gives way further depth about all of the dynamics going on, as well as just being a solid, enjoyable, silly premise, right? It's just a good time. Eventually, Pomni and Jax end up winning. And Pomni basically has like learned to sort of embrace being cartoonish and in this case just like try and being a little mischievous and evil because fuck it, it's all a game basically, so why the fuck not. And so Pomni sort of leaning into that character is like, all right, well now it's time for the inevitable betrayal, but Jax just isn't really feeling it. He doesn't care. And they kind of argue, Jax arguing that he's above it and doesn't give a shit about what's going on or her or anybody else. And Pomni's like, no, we were like bonding this whole time. We were having a good time. We were friends. And Jack's like, no, bullshit. No friends. Fuck you. Fuck all y'all. And he had recently, before this, as a reason why he's kind of detached now, been reminded of his abstracted friend who turned into a void beast, who, from what we understand, is some sort of frog.
Yes.
It's some sort of frog person.
Yes, their name is Ribbit.
Good old Ribbit.
Yep. It's not said in the show yet, but it is. It was confirmed through outside sources. Because the fans are very loud.
Yeah, and so Jax and Pomni, they just kind of argue back and forth together, right? And then we have the favorite character awards to end the episode that was implied early on. One thing that this show does pretty good, albeit once again, perhaps in a little bit of a formulaic manner. Whatever the first scene is will be relevant later, right? It'll open up with a sort of like sitcom, casual, silly scene in media res, as you often get. But then it'll be relevant later in a very obvious way, which I think is overall very positive and good. Albeit, it's become somewhat formulaic. But we get the favorite character awards. Jax has a bit of a breakdown going on. One running joke that has started that also works, and it pops up when Jax is having a breakdown, which is why I'm remembering it. Disappearing Man is solid.
Yes.
That's another joke that it works. His thing is he will start speaking, and then he'll disappear. And that's his whole shtick. And it works every time because he looks like any of the others where he's just sort of like an art mannequin thing, right? That you would use for reference.
But he's red and has a hat.
And he just disappears when he speaks, and it's great. It's delightful. Meanwhile, you get a little joke at the end where Kane thinks he wins, but it's actually Ming who is just another I would say NPC because they're in the same style as all the other NPCs, but we do see that they have a door, they have a room, So even though they were introduced late and it's kind of like it's just an NPC, Ming might be an actual person too. Who knows? And then we see a little post-credit scene that Kane is losing their fucking shit. Kane is growing less stable.
Yep.
Overall, very solid episode. So some minor flaws here and there. Like, I think when the show tries to get inspirational, like it does in this case with Gangle and Zubul, once again, a bit ham-fisted, not particularly original or interesting, but it's not terrible. It's not bad. It's just not doing much, right? It's not doing as much as I think it wants to be doing in those moments. But this episode, it was a great episode. It hit its stride. With episode 6, it's the first episode where I'm like, no, that was a great episode, all right? It wasn't just a good episode, it was a great one. If it can keep this momentum that it has, and it's only gotten better, right? Then I'm confident that it'll have a strong finish.
Yeah, I mean, there are only going to be 3 more episodes after this. It's going to be a 9-episode series.
Yeah, and I think with that, if they can maintain the quality that they have achieved with episode 6, then they are set, because I think they finally have sort of figured it out. This is one of the few anime.
Well, it's not an anime.
It's one of the few anime, Shaun, where
okay.
it gets better actually applies. Unfortunately, I don't think that will change my stance on the it gets better crowd for a couple reasons. One, it got better in 6 episodes, not like 2.5 seasons, right? 2, its distribution model is obviously very different from actual anime. Where they're taking time for each individual episode, finishing one before moving on to the next, which means that there's far more noticeable time and space for improvement episode to episode than you'd have for anime.
Let's not talk about manga production schedules as a general rule, because I don't want to be sad again.
Yeah, it's real fucked and unfortunate. So yeah, I think that it had a rough start. It had great thought and care put into it at every stage. It just felt like they very amateur storytelling, right? Very amateur storytelling early on, but they with the effort they put in, with the thought and care that's continued to put in, with taking their time with the episodes, there's noticeable improvement as it goes along, ultimately leading to episode 6, which was just a really, really good episode. I was worried. I was worried for the first 3 episodes, Shaun, because I was like, oh, fuck. I'm gonna tear this thing apart, and I'm gonna feel bad, because it's like, it is an interesting original indie thing. And I want more of that in the world. But fortunately, I'm just able to say, hey, rough start, really solid overall.
And the hilarious thing is, Rem, most people think that this show is brilliant from episode 1 onward, so I don't even think you saying it's got a rough start is going to affect all that many people.
Well, that's because people don't give a shit about, as I've learned, character and relationships or depth or nuance. They like a fun premise and good character designs, which are here throughout, so have at it.
There's that condescension. I was wondering where it was.
It's not condescension, it's just we have different standards, all right? We have different standards, the weebs and I, and we've learned time and time again, the weebs aren't that invested in character development. They don't care that much about it, Shaun. They care more about character design than character development. Would you disagree with that claim, on average?
I mean,
we're gonna have a little popularity poll, all right? Popularity poll between an anime girl with a really interesting magical girl design, but it's frankly written like trash. Just given one single character, her whole thing, she's just sarcastic, right? She has no other traits. She's just generally sarcastic. And then let's have a more ordinary character that goes through one, it just has so much like depth to them, just so much nuance, feels so fucking real and compelling. On average, where would you place your money on the popularity poll? Who's gonna win?
That depends on if they watch the show with the second character.
I think even if they did, I think overall, well, and first of all, I mean, even just with, I think people are less interested to watch the second one because it's not a selling point to say it's well written. It's not good enough. Meanwhile, you would just show a picture of the first waifu and a bunch of weebs would be like, oh yeah, that's all I need. That's convinced me.
I mean, there are still people who say that Eren Yeager is one of the best characters. Yeah, both villain and hero of the story, which, hate to break it to you, gang, you can't be both.
But back to Amazing Digital Circus. I think it has a flawed start, not a bad start. It doesn't start awful. But it starts rough. It starts rough, especially with the storytelling. And first episode kind of gets a pass because it's introducing you to everything. And that can cover it up pretty well. Episode 2 just shouldn't be episode 2. That's my biggest problem. There needs to be an episode 1.5 on that sumbitch. I genuinely think that it is actively bad structure there. Great ideas, super cool ideas, terrible structure.
Yep, and that is also the episode that got people locked in on the franchise as a whole.
Yeah,
After the first one, so, you know.
Well, and look, I've said this before, and I even stand by it, because this show pretty immediately went viral and became super popular, right? And I think it continues to confirm my hypothesis that overall, most people aren't really after a strong script. They're after a great concept, which this does have. This has a great concept and strong visuals. And there you go. Style and concept, that's what makes things popular. That's what makes things go viral. It's even, and that applies to shows. It applies to anime, and I've talked about that plenty. Hell, it applies to like Kickstarters, right? If you know the most successful like tabletop RPGs on Kickstarter, even ignoring any that have like big names attached to them, it's the ones with style and concept. They may be shittily written. The rules may be a fucking mess. But if it's got a good style and a good premise, it's gonna be raking in the money. It's gonna be raking in the money because that's the premise interests us. The style is evocative and makes us imagine so much more. And often that imagining carries the weight.
I stand by my 5e fishing supplement book. It's fantastic. Thank you very much. I hope to use it someday.
Also, a part of me does hope. Look, so this is inspired, of course, by, as you mentioned, I have no mouth and I must scream.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, there's only one way that it can end. There's only one way that it can end. And we've gotten like plenty of hints. This is definitely made, and I would say deliberately, because it knows that it's going to have some longer gaps. It needs something to fill in the gaps. It's made for a theory crafting audience, right? It's made with that in mind. When we get bits and pieces, Kinger can alter the code and has computer science experience. Clearly, Kinger is more tapped into what's going on, and all of that. But I think that if we really want to go the route of cannot scream, you need Pomni to find a way to kill everybody, to free them, to actually free them. But then Pomni has to be trapped there forever. Like that's gotta be the end. And here's the thing, even though that's more or less just adapting the ending of the short story, that's fine. Because that would be, I think that would actually be a solid ending and fit the vibes.
Oh God, you're gonna make everybody so sad.
Oh, right? Well, I mean, I'm sort of like, I don't think that this story should end happily. At most, bittersweet. All right? You're in a digital Technicolor hellscape. That's that can't be a great ending. I saw the funniest fucking thing. I looked up some Reddit posts about Amazing Digital Circus, since I'm more or less caught up. I know there's a little bit of supplemental material here and there, but
I mean the supplemental material is random, like posts from the creator, and like plushies. That's about it.
But since I'm caught up, I browsed the Reddit very briefly. I saw a hilarious post that was I think it was like theorizing about its connections with I Have No Mouth But I Must Scream, and it was the funniest thing to me. I didn't read through it all. In fact, I kind of just lost my mind at the opening. Here's the deal, guys. If you don't know, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. It's like 10 to 15 pages. It's very short.
Yeah, it's
This
a very
person-
short existential horror show.
Yeah. And very evocative, very interesting. And this person was like, "Oh yeah, I read through an in-depth summary of the story and also listened to an audio drama of it." I was like, just
Just read
read
the fucking thing.
Just read it. It's so short. It's so short. You don't need to read a summary. It's only like 12 pages, dude. And I lost it. I was like, come on. And I understand if it, like, you may think that it's some grander beast than it is from what you've heard. It's not. Just it's 12 pages. It's worthwhile. Check it out. I truly lost my mind when I read that. It's just, you don't need a summary. You don't need to be like, oh man, I can't read the whole thing. Better go listen to an audio drama instead. Like, no, just read it. Just read it.
Yeah, it's not hard. And what do you have to say to the people who who find just this whole premise incredibly attractive?
Oh my god.
I've unfortunately seen some art.
Well, and even I know that people are horny for it, right? Yep. It's one of the things I know about it, which is if basically I consider it, if I know about something without ever having looked it up or searched for anything, right? In this case, before this, I've never sought out any Amazing Digital Circus, literally anything. But of course, it breached containment because I was vaguely familiar with it going on. And even it being horny, that breached containment. I know that there's just a strong subset of the fan base who are horny for it. I'm just like, why? Guys, why? I don't understand. I'm gonna guess. All right. So I know they're horny for Pomni. I assume Jax is the one they're second most horny for,
if not the most.
yeah. I think people are gonna be very horny for Jax. Those are really the two. I think people are really horny for those two, and then I think there's substantial drop off for anybody else. Not that nobody else would be represented because fucking degenerates, but
I mean, the Kinger fans are very adamant about how fuckable that chess piece is.
No, I have to believe that's an ironic horning. I don't think there's any, like, people genuinely jacking it to Kinger, but I do, if anything, I almost appreciate the ironically horny for Kinger crowd.
Yeah.
Because that, I do find amusement in imagining people being like, oh man, what a king.
It's definitely an interesting crowd, and let me just say that I've seen so many gajinkas of these characters. It's insane. Sorry, to translate, proper humanization of these characters, like drawing them as humans.
Yeah.
And people be thirsting. People be thirsting. A lot of people really enjoy how much gender energy Zubul gives off, because they're kind of, it's there's a lot of people who really relate to the individual characters. Like I said, episode 4, the fast food episode, a lot of people who don't have much capacity to look beyond the surface. A lot of people find episode 4 to be the worst, simply due to the fact that Zubul is, having a crisis.
It's the first time we get to see Zubul actually be a character.
Yeah.
In episode 3, we see Zubul in therapy, but that's genuinely just exposition dump. And it's lazy and bad and terrible. All right? Episode 4 is the first time you get to actually have Zubul have any characterization.
Oh, sorry. Did I say Zubul? I meant Gangle.
Yeah.
Gangle. A lot of people are upset with Gangle, primarily.
Yeah, but that totally works because it fits the themes so well. Once again, character setting and theme all come together in that episode in a very great way.
It is a delightfully absurd show with a delightfully absurd audience, to be certain. And obviously, Rem, I can't give you a Mal score for this show for, I feel, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So the next best thing I can do is IMDb, because this also streams on Netflix, so it qualifies apparently. And not for like Letterboxd or anything like that. Don't be ridiculous. But IMDb, oh yeah, they'll take it. Do you have any guesses on what the IMDb rating for this show is?
It's so many layers removed from my normal wheelhouse, right? Because first, IMDb ratings instead of Mal, and then 2, it's not like it's a movie on IMDb. It is primarily a web series that, sure, may be on Netflix, but it's a web series.
Yeah.
And, and also has a particular fan base, but then also there's almost
Is that fan base using IMDb?
Are they using IMDb? There's likely some like weird backlash to the fan base. Oh god. I'm gonna say I'm fucking in the dark. 7.62, and I'm gonna shrug, and that's a Hail Mary, baby.
Final answer?
Sure.
All right. Well, on IMDb, about 8.6 thousand people rated it, you know?
Yeah.
When you compare it to the absolutely fucking massive, like, 395 million people that watched the pilot.
Yeah.
Or, well, that's how many views it got. Probably not exactly that many people, but pretty damn close. With the most recent episode having 82 million views. Which, I mean, I'll agree with you there. I think the most recent episode is easily the best one. Like, it's the one that actually makes me the most excited for what is going to happen in the next 3 episodes.
It's the one that is the most fully realized. Easy.
Yeah. And, like, the one other thing I know about the future is that one of the posts by Gooseworks, the creator, essentially said, hey, Jax is going to do something even more evil and heinous in the future. So have fun with that, gang.
I mean, look,
I
Jax,
think they're
Jax has to get abstracted, right? Jax had a whole monologue talking about how people are very unpleasant before they're abstracted. Which, you know, layers of being just like the unfortunate reality that very often before people's death, it can be unpleasant to be around them for a myriad of reasons, which is then very unfortunate and complex. But then also, Jax being especially unpleasant, it's like, I mean, come on.
I mean, that's what a lot of people are theorizing. But the question is that's what's going to happen, or is he going to somehow do something worse?
It's got to... Look, all right, here's what I'm going to say, all right? Not everyone can make it out okay. This show has done a great job of having a certain bleakness to it, right? Mixing hopeful with bleak. And, like, we had the Gummy Goo moment being like, hey, you love them? Fuck you. I mean, by the end, especially, like, probably the final episode, at least one of the main cast has to get abstracted or just, like, disappeared or just get... Something needs to happen, all right? Good chance it'll be Kinger. Could also be... I mean, frankly, all of them have decent, like, narrative reason to be abstracted. All of them could work. All of them I can imagine getting abstracted and the consequences that would have, and it all feels fitting. So, any of them work, but some motherfucker needs to get abstracted, and, like, permanently. You can't be, like, temporarily abstracted and then, like, True Love's teardrop cures them, or some bullshit. Shaun, how about, I wanna hear you anger the audience. Choose your, most favorite and least favorite main character. Stake your claim. Yep, and most favorite.
I think currently least favorite is probably Ragatha, but only because I just need a little bit more from her. I just need a little bit more. That's it.
Yeah, and it also does feel like
it feels like she's masking most of the time.
Yeah, but at the same time we have something that thematically is more on the nose when it comes to masking, and that's a fucking mask. Yes. And so it does feel like they sort of have a bit too much overlap in what they're doing, and that I think that's a reasonable stance. I think that Ragatha hasn't some interesting ideas, but hasn't found her footing as much as many of the other characters.
Yeah. And for favorite, coin flip between Kinger and Pomni, honestly. I like both of them a lot, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Jax has become a very good character, but I've been too
Jax started out insufferably, but when they started adding a little bit more, it's like, oh, thank God.
It's there's a lot of discourse about Jax on the internet that is annoying to me. And by the way, Rem, since we got so far away from it, Amazing Digital Circus on IMDb has a score of 8.1.
Yeah, sure. It could have been anything, and I wouldn't have been wildly surprised. I'm gonna level with you.
Yeah, and IMDb, there are ratings by individual episode. Like, the first episode has a 7.9, whereas the most recent episode has a 9.5. So, based on how you described things,
it's the right curve, but perhaps a bit high, guys.
People fucking love that. So I think the IMDb rating is like the average of all of those.
I really fucked with episode 6 too. 9.5. One of the fucking best episodes of any television show ever. Come on now.
If I had a way to look at all like episodes of television show by score rating, I would love to see what other TV compares. Maybe I'll look into that later. But yeah, no.
One sec,
yeah,
I'm checking BoJack Horseman's highest rated episodes.
No, you're gonna probably be sad, my guy.
Oh no, I'm thrilled. Turns out its highest rated episodes, we got a 9.9, a 9.8, a 9.8, a 9.6, all of which I'm like, yeah, those are the episodes that should be there. Those.
Any of the ones I've seen?
Let's see. Oh, I think this might be one you've seen, but let me check because otherwise it'd be spoilers as fuck. Nope, none that you've seen. You have not seen. You've not seen any of the top. Oh well. Let's see. You've seen the fifth most highly rated BoJack episode, which was Fish Out of Water.
Oh, the one that was mostly silent that I fucking adored and was also sad by the end of.
Yep.
Okay, cool, fantastic.
That one's like basically tied for fifth with a couple of others. But the top four, oh baby. I mean, having an episode that's 9.9 and it has 27,000 ratings. Like, it's not that nobody has rated it.
No.
And it is such a good episode. Oh my god, fucking primo.
Yeah. So yeah, So IMDb is just a different beast entirely, essentially.
Especially for TV shows.
Especially for TV shows, because because if I had to guess, I think like the show's score rating is compiled like the average of all the other ratings. Because looking at the individual ratings for Amazing Digital Circus, each one has around 2,000 ratings, and since there's about 6 episodes and there's it lists 8.6 thousand ratings, that math kind of checks out. So but yeah, I guess the final question I need to ask you, Rem, is there any chance you'd like to watch the remaining 3 episodes when they eventually come out?
Oh yeah, especially like, oh baby, if it's only gotten better and if it's able to maintain the quality of episode 6, then it'll be great.
And I mean, basically anybody that works on this project essentially is in the same boat. I've seen a lot of the VAs thrilled to talk about it whenever they can. I've seen little clips of the individual animators who are just allowed to show their animation process, which is...
Oh, that's rad as hell. I love that.
Yeah,
my advice to the creators, all right?
Especially which I'm sure they'll listen to this.
Yes,
I'm sure they'll listen to us.
Especially with how popular it's gotten and everything. There's going to be a temptation, and I'm going to tell you to not give in to that temptation. Don't listen to the fans. The fans are going to have all sorts of notions, all right, about what you got to do, what you can and should do. Fuck that. Tell your story, all right? Tell your goddamn story. And look, if a character has to get abstracted and it'll make the fans angry, fuck them, if that's the story that needs to be told.
You hear that, Gooseworks? If you're listening to this, go for it. Kill that rabbit. Fucking kill that purple rabbit that people hate. Oh, and love. They love it a bit too much. And hey, Gooseworks, if you want to come on the show, you're welcome anytime. Love to chat with you about this, and I'd love to have you absolutely go after Remington.
I mean, surely they have to be a bit of a weeb. I mean, we saw episode 4. We see Gangle. Like, look. you don't write Gangle without being a bit of a weeb yourself. So come on down to the podcast. It'll be great.
Yeah, well, pick an anime. We'll talk about it. It'll be a grand old time. Oh, God. But with that in mind, this insanely long spooky month episode. And before, I have to ask, Rem, does this feel like a good spooky month episode?
Yeah.
Me breaking the rules, some raw existential horror.
Yeah, I think that there's a nice underlying monstrosity and it in just sort of like this existential horror. And I always love some good like eternal horror. Obviously, I have no face, I have no mouth, but I must scream. That one's a solid one. No Exit is delightful and fucked. One that I read recently that is possibly my favorite of the lot is A Short Stay in Hell. Would recommend if you are interested in the idea of being trapped forever and it's just kind of fucked, but also has a very human element. A Short Stay in Hell. Oh my god, it stuck with me. It stuck with me in a very meaningful way.
That sounds like fun, Rem. But with all that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Remington getting to watch something that's not anime for once, don't get used to it. But if you enjoyed it, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime out of context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime out of context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thinking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are trapping us in a horrible purgatory. And on that list, we have PogChamp Bussy Man Rollins. Great start. Great start.
What? Don't.
He
like
is
that.
the great PogChamp Bussy Man.
I don't claim this title.
Gandalf the Barbarian. Shaun admitted to fucking to the Digimon theme. Shaun blocked my cock. Shaun, why do you hate women? I've got my thinking, where's my yanking? Getting married in 10 days, cover Sleepy Princess. Ryan Moody, week 25 of using my Patreon name to request code Geese. Boring Siren, Sparcy. That time I reincarnated as podcast host and forced to weave. I need a sugar daddy to buy animation equipment. Hey, what's Shaun's email again? Missed it before. In Shaun voice, coming up on the OnlyFans, Red Bill Rollins will try autoerotic asphyxiation.
Are they trying to tell me to kill myself?
Sexily.
I don't like this.
It's a message to say, hey, go kill yourself and go fuck yourself at the same time.
Look, if one's happening, the other definitely isn't.
Swaraj Verdi, Jake Dent, Wolfire 56, Lidnerd 98, Lucky Stars the King of Moe, God, fuck it, no more trans Shaun, we want Chinese Shaun. I can't believe I made an account for this. Wes Kane, help, I'm stuck in a toxic throuple with my hamper and dirty laundry. Bento Kato, Remington is right. Red Pill Rollins gooning for Kirk in solidarity. See, that doesn't need to get censored, it's just in bad taste. My little horse rum, Beach episode and harem supporter, right Shaun? Red Venom, a Moe piece of trash, Seraphim the Shark plushie, Dylan Appreciation Day, Aisha Gucci, Blarf, Macaroni Uchiha, Daniel Riot, the Danish Viking will conquer the world with Renor Zora as my navigator, Shaun ruined my Happy Sugar life when he inevitably needs 100% the greatest racing game because he's bad at art. Hell yeah, brother! Hell yeah, brother! You should know the results by now. Is he playing it? Is he playing it?
I hate everything.
Hopefully he's playing it, and hopefully I'm not playing it, is all I'm saying, alright? Because one of us is playing as we speak. As this episode is released, one of us is playing this game. Super Zoo, Erica McCorkle, Shaun Rollins, Link Joe Curl, Shaun wants to give Spoonman a thank and yank. Shaun uses Rem uses the drums of liberation for all weebs from bad anime. I showed my grandma Aunt Shirley and she watched it all by herself. Did I turn her into a weeb? My Digimon is Mpreg Red Pilled Rollins. Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story about Shaun's nut. Turban, where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Stacy's mom, Amazing Muffin. Watching Requiem for Spoonman at 0.5 speed. King Rich Rock. Pro tips out of context has run out of things to post. Will come back soon. Rhiannon Williams. Titan CNH. The Susanator. Brock Hartford Geodudes. Bogos Binted. Yandere Neko. Anime. Miska will not stand for hearing Rem besmirch the eminence in shadow, says Miska as she pulls up a chair. And yet I did. Fern the Fern, GE Bottom, aka Bear Chap. Sorry for not changing the name, but do plan. I think I need to Batman my town. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. No waifu, no laifu. I'm making Rem call Shaun ethnic slurs until you bring back the Chef No Musketeer, you bog trotter. Hoomst. Cheese Monkey, Jax, Professor Fox. Jam Hands, Red Pill Rollins, obviously as Grinder. Buxton. Farmer Weeb's Rem Choice of the Week. Who would be a better isekai protagonist, Jesus or Shakespeare? Ross Palmer, Glenn Michael Dolan, Cassidy. And now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. Shaun, what are they going to get this week?
You know, gotta be honest, kind of a hard one.
Yep.
Kind of not an easy thing to just kind of throw together, you know?
90s video games.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that. They'll all get 90s video games. That sounds great.
On that list, we have Melnick Suzuki.
They can have Super Mario 64.
Will the Thrill.
They can have the Back to the Future Part 2 video game.
Dom and I Trigon is better than anything Remington has ever watched after episode 7. Shaun watch it for fun, lots of drunk.
They can have a Basket Brawl.
Send help, Titaro can't stop playing Silk Song.
How about just Bomberman?
Your friendly neighborhood Kami.
They can have Final Fantasy IV.
Pulmonary Potter, the true boy wizard.
Sounds like, God, there are a lot of things I just do not recognize, but that's fine. They can have Conquest of the Crystal Palace.
Umbrasite.
They can have Final Fantasy V.
Rum still needs to watch Bandori Tamago and Ave Mujiga, or else Kazumi will keep singing Twinkle Tinkle Little Star.
They can have Dr. Mario.
That mouse girl.
Final Fantasy VI.
Truckun Operator number 42.
Let's go with Final Fantasy 7. That sounds right.
Everyone wants One Piece live action on episode 400.
How about... Oh, I just realized I was only looking at 1990. That's fun. Let's go with Bomberman 2.
Sammy K is here to remind you that you just lost the game.
How about... God, my desire to give them something that's semi-recognizable is not great for this.
No, man, give them whatever.
Yeah, all right. How about Bill Nye the Science Guy Stopped the Rock?
Carver 271.
Let's go with Age of Empires, Rise of Rome.
Spoonman the Aristocrat is here for party quirks. My man. Sean, I hate to tell you, the last episode, last little pre-banter we did of party quirks, it is... I got so much positive feedback from it. I got so much positive feedback.
I saw one person say they checked out.
Yeah, one person. I received a little bit of negative feedback and so much positive feedback.
Damn you people. Why would you do that? You could have fucking Duke Nukem Time to Kill.
Power Cell Ponders. Count as an anime to make Rem watch. And unfortunately, Dylan, you're going to have to censor that part of their name from this point forward, which is going to be fun. But you need to censor the name of the show.
Which is fucking rude. Like, you haven't even... Like, I briefly explained why, but I don't know if he fully is understanding of why.
It's great. What do they get?
They can have Final Fantasy 8.
Monogatari is everything you ever said you want in anime. This week it has experimental visuals.
They can have... I think the OG Resident Evil was in the 90s. I have a list in front of me. My desire to please people is just showing. They can have Lego Racers. They can have Lego Racers.
I'd like to start a petition to replace the word brat with kudere.
They can have...
The obscure shit can be fun too, Sean.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll be thrilled by Rat Attack.
Sounds great. Beethoven 1201.
How about Qbert?
Tum.
Pro Pinball Fantastic Journey.
Silent Secondary.
Pokemon Snap.
Miguel DeLeon.
Pokemon Pinball.
Allfather offers Shaun for a purple pill to nullify at least one of the many red pills he takes every day.
Pokemon Gold and Silver. And
now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun will, as Joey Wheeler, will tell you into what purgatorial hellscape you're going to spend an eternity in, and I will tell you what shape your form is transformed into. On that list we have Iron Mushoku Tensei.
Sorry, I'm doing what?
You choose which purgatorial hellscape they're going to be in, so you could take old classics, you could create new ones, you could be like, you're in an endless library, you're in, you could, for example, say Digital Circus, you could be like, you're trapped in Frogger, alright? You could just, whatever,
okay.
They're just trapped in some purgatorial hellscape for eternity, and I'm going to tell them what form they're in while they're there. So I heard Mushoku Tensei.
They can have an anime podcast.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. And you are gonna be transformed into a very, very fleshy waveform. The fleshiest waveform around.
I hate that. I really hate that.
It's very uncomfortable. Follow anime out of context on Blue Sky. Rem, can I convince you to punish Shaun unless he follows me back? About sure, yeah.
No,
easily
you can't.
Convinced.
No, you can't. You can't fucking tell me what to do with my own personal shit.
Well, I mean, look, it's your choice. There just may be consequences, Shaun.
Go fuck yourself. I don't want to follow.
Why would you not follow the official, unofficial anime podcast?
The fact that it's unofficial. But
it's officially unofficial.
I refuse. It goes against my principles.
All right, well, you've made your choice. What hellscape do they get?
Hellscape of eternal disappointment.
And you are going to be transformed into a single raindrop falling forever. Then we got, smack my ass and call me princess. Seriously, Shaun, please smack my ass.
You can have, probably just horny jail. Like, that's probably what's gonna happen.
And fortunately for you, you are gonna be the bench at horny jail. So it's not all bad. And last but not least, we didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting in those traffic circles, because when people go round in circles, it causes nados.
Oh, God. How about you know what? You could have the digital circus. Hopefully things turn out well. We won't know until the last 3 episodes drop.
You're gonna be transformed into bad CG Sean Rollins.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful.
Nobody should have to go through that.
All right, well, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.